To find out, can you beat Fallout 4 as a cannibal? For this challenge, I can only heal by eating meat. I cannot use stim packs or sleep. But I can use Radaway because that just gets rid of radiation. I picked my stats, talked to this annoying guy, went into the vault, watched the entire world vaporize around me. What a Monday, am I right, guys? After that, I watched my husband get murdered in cold blood, but I didn't really care since he wasn't a femboy anyway. Those are the only type of men I die for. After that, Kellogg stole my son, so I had to go out and get my baby. And for once, I was actually able to fight the rad roaches. Usually I just, lock them behind a door. But it was nice to actually be able to fight them. So yeah, there's a positive. And to be honest with you, the cannibal perk's really good in Fallout 4, but I didn't know how far this would carry me. After all, you needed 8 endurance to do it, so I had a heavy endurance build, so it shouldn't be too bad. Then I built some wooden shelves to try to gain as much XP as possible. So I need the cannibal perk to, start the challenge, so I had to level myself up to get the perk. Luckily I was able to do it. I also did something dumb and gave myself ghoulification, which heals me around radiation. Which, yeah, is against the challenge, so later on I had to use console commands to get rid of it. But for now, I'm not near any radiation, so I just murder some raiders and devour them. It was pretty tough. Also, I decided to go towards a melee build, because then I'll take the most damage, and it'll be the most challenging. After all, if I was just a sniper that stayed like 20 feet away, and had some of the most overpowered guns, then this wouldn't really be that fun of a challenge, at least in my opinion. When I do healing-based challenges, like only water or only beds, I always do melee to make it more interesting. Anyway, after slaughtering the raiders and turning them to a buffet, I talked to Preston Garvey, who told me that he had a way out. So I wore some power armor and began to shoot him up with a minigun. Making sweet raider beef jerky, my favorite. Comment down below what's your favorite beef jerky. Mine's raider, although Deathclaw beef jerky does have the most protein. Of course, it's also the hardest to kill. Many people have lost their families trying to get Deathclaw beef jerky. I do not recommend it. Anyway, after lighting some raiders up, it was time for me to fight the Deathclaw. And by fight it, I mean hide behind a building as I shot it with the minigun. Now, there was plenty of dead raiders around, so I probably could have gotten some health here and there. So I probably didn't need to do this, but better safe than sorry. And even though I talked a big game about picking a melee build, this is a Deathclaw, and I don't F with Deathclaws, especially when I first start the game. Write that down. Do not F with Deathclaws, kids. Anyway, after killing the Deathclaw, I then began to eat some raiders to get my health back. Yummy, yummy, yummy. After that, I wanted some Diamond City armor, so I blew up a car next to a Diamond City guard. Surprisingly, he survived that because he's a legendary Diamond City guard, which I had no idea was a thing, and I've beaten this game like at least 12 times, so yeah, I bet there's people in the comments like 12 times? I beat it 500 times, noob. If you think that in the comments, then you're right, I am a noob and I suck at the game. Anyway, after that, I decided to do a few Minutemen missions because, I wasn't going to side with the Minutemen, spoiler alert, but I wanted to use the Minutemen to get to the Institute because they're the easiest one to get there. So, I figured this would be the best idea. And right now, I was using a baseball bat with nails, which isn't really the best melee weapon, but against weak raiders, it does do the job. Ignore the fact that I almost died brutally against a raider boss. I may have almost died, but I got to devour him, so I got the last laugh. After that, I ate what's left of his comrades and decided to go to Diamond City for real. I also had to use the console command there to get rid of the ghoulification perk. I hate using console commands, but I had to use it because I gave myself a perk that breaks the rules of the challenge on accident. And yeah, I did use the perk, but afterwards I reloaded, so it's fine. Because I say so, and it's my channel, and I can do what I want. After that, it was time for me to rescue Nick, so I went to fight the Triggermen, which are now beef men. Men made out of beef jerky. How delicious. But yeah, Triggermen were quite tasty. I thought about making a peanut butter jelly joke, but I decided not to because the reference is just too old. So instead of doing a peanut butter jelly joke, I just killed and devoured them and ate their flesh and made their comrades watch in agony as all of their friends and loved ones slowly died in front of them. You know, just normal Fallout stuff. At least I can say that this food was scrumptious. Now, doing melee in Fallout is pretty easy, especially in New Vegas, because you can make your character super OP. But if you don't have a really good melee weapon in Fallout 4, just try to lure your opponents in one-on-one. Try to take them on one-on-one, then devour their flesh. Well, you don't have to do that last part, but I recommend it. So yeah, after killing the Triggermen and devouring them, I then met up with Nick. Now, sadly, I couldn't Nick because it is a stencil NPC, and you cannot eat metal, you dumb a-hole. What made you think you can bite through metal? Are you stupid? Anyway, after that, I then killed Skinny Malone with a grenade, which I'm thinking about doing only a grenade challenge or a throwable challenge. I've seen a bunch of people do it on Fallout 4. It's not unique at all, so I really didn't want to do it, but grenades are just so fun. Now, if you want a super sludge, go to this location on the map. Now, you see, the whole baseball bat with a few nails on it wasn't really doing it justice, so I wanted a super sludge. So all you gotta do is go here, kill some super mutants, and you'll find a guy named Hammer, and he drops a super sludge. Now, it's possible to buy it in Diamond City, but you have to be a certain level, and it's like random, and I just wasn't lucky enough, so yeah. After that, I went to some farms to eat up some farmers. They don't taste as good as Raiders, but they taste pretty good. After that, I stole some keys to Kellogg's house, burglarized his house, and found out that my kid wasn't there. Now I was off to try to find Kellogg, after stealing everything he owned, of course. Even though I couldn't really drink the Nuka-Cola, I could still give it to the homeless because I am a nice person. I just feed them up and eat them, like Hansel and Gretel with the witch, but I am the witch who eats the kids. Anyway, after having dog meat lead me to Fort Hagen, it was time for me to go inside. And this is why I needed the super slug, because I needed to do as much damage as possible, because, I don't know if you knew this or not, but with the cannibal perk, you cannot eat metal. Since you cannot eat metal, well, I could not devour synths, so anytime I lost a lot of health, I then decided to leave out and fight some farmers or some raiders. I decided to go to a raider base to quickly devour them. Since I had a super sledge and some Diamond City armor, I figured they wouldn't really stand much of a chance against me, and I was right. So anytime I lost a lot of health, I would simply go away and start to chew down some raiders. Delicious, delicious raiders. Eventually, I got to Kellogg, but since I couldn't, well, regain health by eating robots, I just shot him with a mini nuke because I was tired of his BS. Then I shot another mini nuke to kill the synths because, well, I did not feel like fighting those guys. After that, I devoured Kellogg, and I went and looked out to see that the Brotherhood entered the Commonwealth. Keep in mind that the Brotherhood will be very important for this run. Anyway, after that, I decided to go out and eat some raiders to regain health. Now, I thought about not recording this, but I decided each time I would try to get raiders to eat them, or a few times at least, I would record it to show you guys that I'm not cheating, because someone in the comments would be like, "How'd you get your health back? Oh my god, he's so fake! He's fake, it breaks my heart!" Anyway, after that, I decided to join the Brotherhood, so I had to melt Paladin Dan from the inside out, which is nice. Then I upgraded my super sleds to give it a little heat component, so it, burns people as it ruptures their organs. I went inside Kellogg's mind and learned the Institute was using teleportation. After that, I decided to head aboard the Pringlin real quick. Because, remember when I said the Brotherhood would be useful in this video? They did, they were, because they gave me better power armor. And I could get Enclave power armor, but I decided to use the Brotherhood power armor instead. Why? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I even thought about it, but I was like, nah, it'll just be more of a challenge, even though I gave myself the most OP weapon, so I don't know why I did that. Anyway, I then went to find the Courser. Luckily, the Courser was a robot that you could actually devour, so, that's a plus side. It was kind of difficult. The turrets did do a bit of damage. Now, there is a guy with a rocket launcher that kills you over and over again, but the first time, I actually managed to kill him without dying. This guy's killed me more times than the actual Courser. I'm not gonna lie, the guy with the rocket. Anyway, after that, I met up with the Courser and decided to test how good the Super Slam was on him. And it did, well, a lot of damage. By the way, I know it's called Super Sludge or whatever the hell, but I like saying Super Slam. And if you don't like it, you can just unsubscribe because it's funny as hell for me to say Super Slam, alright? So then I Super Slammed the Courser, and then I devoured his flesh. After that, I upgraded the minigun and made it into, well, a shredder. Because I heard the shredder was very OP in power armor. So to test that out, I decided to kill the railroad, which were a bunch of hippies that believed robots had free will. Which is insane. Robots can't have free will. They're just toasters.
I also love to eat them, so I devoured them. Yummy, yummy, yummy. After that, I got the chip decoded without them because screw the railroad. Why would I ever need them? After that, I decided to test out the shredder on Swan, and it did a decent amount of damage. I'm not gonna lie. Swan was able to punch me, which stopped the combo, but as long as I just kept going right after, Swan was basically screwed and died. R.I.P. Swan. He even dropped a cool power fist and a really good right arm armor, which I used throughout the game. So, you know, nice, nice, nice. After that, I decided to have the Minutemen launch me into the Institute with a teleporter. Dr. Sturgis told me to spy on them and leak their information because the Institute doesn't use NordVPN. If you want to keep your information safe, make sure you have NordVPN. Anyway, after having a small advertisement, by the way, I didn't get paid. I just thought that was funny because NordVPN ads come out of nowhere sometimes. I talked to Father, and he told me to meet the division heads, which I did. Sadly, I could not eat them. Not gonna lie, she did look yummy, especially with ketchup. After that, I mixed with X638, and it was time to meet Gabriel and send him to the Institute. So, before I did that, I killed his buddies and devoured them because Raiders are delicious. Like I said, Raider beef jerky is the best. And I was tempted to eat Gabriel, but sadly, I had to send him back for the Institute. After that, it was time for the Battle of Bunker Hill.
Usually is super easy. However, since I pissed off the railroad, they were already pissed off at me, which means I had to fight through them. And even though I could kill them easily in one shot with my super sledge, they both started to fight me, or super slam, like I like to call it. Slammer, slammy, slammy. After killing them, I didn't devour them, then I saw the sense, and I told them to go back to the Institute by resetting their brain. Then I met with Father, or Son, whatever you like to call them, and he told me that I did a good job and I should meet at the director's seat. After meeting with the director's seat, he didn't announce that he was dying, but all I could think about was eating his body after he died. After that, it was time for me to go in and fight the Brotherhood for the nuclear reactor quest, which shouldn't be too hard. The only problem is you can't eat a person in power armor, so you have to get out of it to devour them. And I got the Shredder to deal with the Brotherhood. Since power armor is really hard to beat down, even with a super slammy or super sledge, it would come in great hands. So, come in handy to turn them into literal beef jerky and see it fit in for the run. After dealing with the Brotherhood, I got to the nuclear reactor, got the core, and now it was time to fight machines. And I didn't really know how this would go. So, I just walked up and, well, started shredding them apart. And you think something made of literal metal would be hard to cut up, but you were wrong. As this rusty blades, and apparently you can destroy giant machines with rusty nails and rusty spikes. It doesn't make any sense to me, but for some reason I'll roll with it. After that, I then fought some more robots. Assaultrons, I thought it was going to be more difficult, but nope, a bunch of rusty nails instantly destroys them. Don't know how that works, just roll with it. After that, I had to kill some gunners, because if you don't get the Minutemen quest far enough, a bunch of gunners will surround the house and not Minutemen. And you can't talk them out, you have to kill them. But that doesn't bother me, since I've killed gunners before. After killing the gunners, I then ate them and devoured their flesh. Then I tried to talk this guy into joining the Institute. He said no, and we had to force him in. Sadly, I could not devour his body because we needed him. Maybe one day I'll come back to eat him. Anyway, after that, it was time for me to do the House Divided quest. For some reason, I couldn't talk sense into any of these people. It's almost like you eat a few people and no one wants to talk to you for some reason. Anyway, I then destroyed the sense that he had beside him, and after destroying all the sense and threatening to eat him and his entire family, he stopped the rebellion. After then, I gave a speech about cannibalism and the glory that it brings you. After that, it was time for me to go to Diamond City to make sure the entire Commonwealth heard my speech. So that's exactly what I did. After that, I went in and put in the nuclear reactor to show the world that the Institute means business. I wonder if the Institute allows cannibalism. Well, when I'm the director, I guess I can ask and figure that out. Anyway, after that, I then turned it on, and we had nuclear power. Hip hip hooray. After that, I went to a director meeting, and I asked them if I could eat the Brotherhood and if the Institute allows cannibalism. And they almost threw me out of the Institute, but they didn't because they need me. After that, it was time for me to do the battle against the Brotherhood, where I shredded them up to beef jerky and devoured them. And yeah,
I actually already did this fight, but for some reason the footage got corrupt, so I had to fight the Brotherhood again. But it wasn't really much different from the first time, but for some reason the second time was a lot harder, because I kept walking out of my power armor and forgetting I was in power armor, which was annoying. But anyway, after killing some Brotherhood agents, I went to destroy the fusion batteries, because the Brotherhood were using these special devices to stop Sins from teleporting in. They were using these special magnet thingies. I don't really know. I wasn't really paying attention because I was craving human flesh for too long. Anyway, after that, I went and destroyed all the magnets, and I kept thinking about the flesh. You ever think about the flesh and want to eat flesh, or is that just me? Anyway, after destroying the 3 magnets and being put on the FBI's wanted list for uploading a video talking about eating flesh, it was time for me to defend Liberty Prime because we were trying to hack it. If you didn't know how the Institute Engine works, which I'm sure you do because you're watching this video. I tried to destroy Vertibird with a mini nuke, and it actually worked out pretty well. Or at least that's what I thought, because somehow it was still flying. After that, I tried to run and shoot it, but I fell off the platform. Now, I thought about cutting this out the video, but I thought me failing like an idiot was funny, so I left it in. After that, Elder Maxon tried to kill me, so I shot him with a mini nuke, but he actually survived. What a Chad. After him surviving that, I then took some jet and decided to run towards him. Elder Maxon may have a laser machine gun, but I have a bunch of needles spinning around. So what wins, the shredder or lasers? You'd think lasers would win, but a bunch of rusty spikes somehow beats lasers. I don't know how that works, but it does. After killing Elder Maxon, I jumped off, and then I ate his flesh. Beef jerky, my favorite. Yum, 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 yum. After killing Elder Maxon and wiping out the left of the Brotherhood, we then hacked into Liberty Prime, and we were able to destroy the Brotherhood airship, proving yes you can beat Fallout 4 as a cannibal. After that, I decided to celebrate by killing my son and eating him, but sadly, he turned to ash, which you can't really eat ash. But I tried to anyway, but I got the cutscene. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Love you all. Peace out.